I never wanted to attend that party in the first place. My wife, Claire, insisted. It was her boss's annual summer event, a glittering show of wealth disguised as team bonding. She called it networking. I called it what it truly was, a room full of people pretending to enjoy each other's company for promotions and pay raises. Claire worked for a man named Richard Holbrook, the kind of executive who didn't just walk, he glided. His smile was practiced, his words dipped in charm, and he carried an air of confidence that made everyone around him shrink a little. I didn't trust him. Maybe it was instinct. Or maybe it was the way his hand lingered just a second too long on my wife's back when he greeted her. Still, I went. That's what marriage is, compromise. The Holbrook mansion looked like something out of a film. Marble floors, a live jazz band, an open bar, everything gleamed. Claire looked stunning in her emerald dress, and for the first hour, I managed to convince myself that maybe it wasn't so bad. We laughed with her coworkers, exchanged polite stories, and I kept my smile steady, even when Richard's compliments toward her began to sound more like flirtation. Around 11 p.m., I'd had enough small talk for a lifetime. I told Claire I was leaving. She said she'd stay a little longer. Richard wanted to discuss an upcoming project. I nodded, kissed her cheek, and told her to get an Uber home. As I walked toward the door, I realized I'd left my jacket on the back patio, a quiet, dimly lit spot overlooking the pool, surrounded by hedges and glass walls. When I stepped outside, I heard voices, Claire's and Richard's. I froze. Their tones weren't professional. There was softness in his voice, something too familiar. "Relax," Richard murmured, his voice low and smooth. "You worry too much. No one's going to find out." My pulse quickened. Claire's reply came in a whisper. "It's not that simple, Richard. He's not stupid. He'll notice." My chest tightened. Richard chuckled. "Come on, Claire. He's a good guy, but not exactly sharp. You've been keeping him in the dark for months." The blood in my veins turned cold. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe. "Please," she said quietly. "Not here." And then I heard it, that soft, unmistakable sound of a kiss. My body moved before my mind could catch up. I stumbled backward, heart pounding, vision blurring. Somehow, I made it back inside, forcing myself to walk instead of run. No one noticed as I slipped through the crowd and out the front door. The drive home was a blur. I replayed their words again and again, searching for any version that didn't mean what I already knew. There wasn't one. When I walked into the house, it felt foreign. The framed wedding photo on the hallway table stared back at me like a cruel joke. Claire and I laughing on the beach, sun in our hair, our whole future ahead of us. I believed we were a team. Turns out I was the only one still holding the umbrella. I didn't text her. I didn't call. I sat in the dark, listening to the clock tick past midnight. When the door finally opened around 2 a.m., I pretended to be asleep. She tiptoed in, smelling faintly of champagne and perfume I didn't recognize. She whispered a soft good night and slid into bed. I kept my breathing steady. That night, I didn't sleep. Something inside me snapped quietly, like a thin thread breaking in the dark. Morning came like punishment. Sunlight poured through the blinds, harsh and unkind. Claire moved around the kitchen humming softly, as if nothing had happened. I watched her from the dining table, studying every small movement. The way she smiled at her phone, the way she avoided my eyes. "Rough night?" she asked casually. "Yeah," I said. "Long party," she replied, sipping her coffee and scrolling on her phone. Probably a message from him. It amazed me how easily she could pretend. How calm, how natural her lies sounded. By noon, she was gone again. "Brunch with coworkers," she said. I didn't ask which ones. When the door closed, I sat in silence. Every part of me wanted to confront her, to shout, to demand the truth. But anger wasn't what I felt. It was something colder, a heavy, steady numbness that didn't explode. It just settled in my bones. Instead, I decided to listen. I opened her laptop, the one we both used for bills. She never changed the password. Within minutes, her email was open. There it was, a thread labeled Project Debrief. But the messages weren't about work. They were about hotels, missed calls, and the night after the gala. Every line cut deeper. One message read, "You make me feel alive again. I don't want to lose this." Her reply, "I'm trying to keep things under control. He's been suspicious lately." He, of course, was me. For a strange moment, I felt calm, like a puzzle had finally completed itself. My gut had been right all along. It wasn't paranoia. It was instinct trying to warn me. That night, she came home to find me sitting on the couch again. No lights, no TV, just silence. "Hey," she said carefully. "You okay?" "Yeah," I replied. "We need to talk." Her smile faded instantly. She knew. "I overheard you," I said quietly. "Last night. You and Richard." The color drained from her face. Her lips parted, then closed again. "It's not what you think," she whispered. "Then tell me what it is," I said. My voice stayed calm. I didn't need to shout. "It was a mistake," she said softly. "It wasn't supposed to happen." "How long?" I asked. She hesitated. "Too long," she finally admitted. 6 months. 6 months. Half a year of lies, smiles, and goodnight kisses. "I thought you still loved me," I said. "I did," she whispered. "I don't believe that," I said quietly. "If you did, you wouldn't have done this." Silence filled the room, thick, suffocating silence. "I'll stay at my sister's tonight," she said finally. I nodded. I didn't stop her. I didn't ask her to explain. I just watched her pack a small bag, walk to the door, and leave. When the door shut, I finally exhaled. The next week was a blur of paperwork, lawyers, and messages from mutual friends pretending not to know why we'd fallen apart. Claire reached out once, a short text. "I hope one day you'll forgive me." I didn't reply. Forgiveness isn't about letting someone back in. Sometimes, it's about closing the door quietly and walking away with your dignity intact. A month later, I drove past the Holbrook building on my way to a meeting. I saw Richard outside, laughing with someone, wearing that same perfect smile. I didn't feel anger, just distance, like watching an old movie I no longer cared about. Funny thing about betrayal, it doesn't destroy you. It just changes the temperature of your soul. Mine's colder now, but it's calm. And for the first time in a long while, that feels like peace.